talk a little bit about what fees the title agency charges for your services? What can a buyer and seller expect to see?
So we charge escrow fees for both sides, and that is a fee for me to do that work, to order the HOA, order the payoff, prepare the documents so that they can sign those at closing.
Right.
And so that fee is split between the parties. If there's a loan on either one, we have to add an additional fee. But that additional fee does include all wires in and out and things like that. So all mailings and stuff like that, Federal Expresses, UPSs, those are all included in those fees as well. And then the seller usually pays the title insurance policy. That's the homeowner's policy, and that varies based on the purchase price.
Okay.
And I should say we have a few underwriters that do our title commitments. For example, First American Title Insurance Agency, Old Republic National Title Insurance Agency, Stewart Title. I don't hardly use them, but they're there. We can use them if somebody really wants them. And so usually what I use is Old Republic or First American.
Okay.
First American, I will say, that is a little cheaper than most of them.
Okay.
But sometimes not. It's kind of funny. It's like, why is this one this little cheaper and not?
Well, and one of the reasons that I like to use Yavapai title, you guys do a great job, but you have multiple locations. I was just thinking that there's 3 on the Verde Valley side and there's 4 on the Quad City Prescott side.
I think we have 8 total. So in Yavapai County.
Yeah, I mean, and Yavapai County is the biggest county. That's the county I work in. So that's why I like that they're spread all over where my clients are going to be, sellers or buyers. The other thing I like is that you guys do give discounts. You give discounts to, I work with a lot of veterans, so my veterans are getting a discount on their title fees. What other?
They're getting a discount on their escrow fees. I should be saying. You should be saying.
Escrow fees. Okay, so yes, escrow fees. So tell me more about that. Okay.
Okay, so we do give a discount for seniors, military, real estate, anybody that's in real estate, agents like yourself.
Woohoo.
Let's see what else.
Medical.
The big 3.
Teachers.
And medical.
First responders. I guess that's what they call it.
Yeah, service type. So teachers, EMTs,
police officers, firefighters.
Yeah.
Okay.
They get a discount. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the 4 big ones.
Yeah. I think that's great because I mean, most of these are all like they're serving our community or our country, and I just think that it's great that you acknowledge that. I'm trying to think what else. My clients are always asking me things. I'm like, I don't know, because I don't do title. That's not my thing. I stay in my lane. So when we're like, okay, we're through the transaction, we know we're going to close, or even before we know we're going to close, sellers oftentimes sign their documents, correct?
Correct.
Let's talk about that.
I prepare the documents, the warranty deed. Sometimes it's a special warranty deed, but 99% of the time it's just a warranty deed. So the seller will sign those, and I'll just hold it in the file until the buyers are ready to sign and close, and then we can go ahead and have them sign with their loan documents all at once.
Okay.
And then get it closed. A lot of times, in fact, I just had one that canceled only because, it was nothing. It was about the height of the driveway.
Like it was one of those steep driveways?
Steep driveways, and, it was going to cost a lot of money to break it down, and the buyers said, no, we're not doing that. And so, the seller had already signed everything. It was like ready to close, and the buyer said, nope, we can't do it. And so it canceled within the time frame it could. And buyers got their money back. But I just, threw away those shredded those documents so that nobody would be worried about, oh, it got transferred anyway.
Yeah, accidentally transferred title. Sorry. Oh no,
Yeah.
not good,
Yeah,
not
that's why
good.
we shred.
Yes. Shredding is good. So then we're through everything. Do you get the appraisal? I don't think you do
I
you?
don't get an appraisal at all ever from the
No.
lender.
No, I didn't think so. So basically, we're through everything. You've got all the documents. You know what compensation is going to be for both agents. You've got all credits. You've got the HOA documents out. You know what that is. You know the taxes, the insurance. You've got all of that. Then you
And
call.
then I've got any invoices as well that need to come to me for payment at closing. So like
Ah,
uh the uh the septic, any in a termite inspection that needs to be paid for.
right.
A lot of
Sometimes
times
the
that'll be paid
appraisal.
for. Sometimes the appraisal needs to be paid for. And all I get will I'll just get the invoice from the lender on how much it is and who to send it to.
Right.
I mean, that's all, yeah, things that need to be paid for before closing.
Got it. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Because yes, on a VA loan, usually they want that paid before we get to closing, the termite
Right.
inspection invoice. But yeah, I've seen a lot of
On other
septics in
loans, they
there.
don't. Yeah. Yeah. Other loans, they'll pay it at closing. They'll let you pay at closing.
Yeah, the VA is special. It's
They are.
They are special. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, actually, if a vendor's willing to let it roll till closing, because sometimes sellers need to do that because they don't have the funds to pay the vendor for the repair that has been requested and they've agreed to do, but it can't be paid till they close. So
Correct.
that happens. I know I've had roofing monies come through. Um, for like they have to replace or repair the roof and that money's come through the closing. So when you get the clear to close, what happens then? What do you do with the lender to prepare for the buyer to come in and do their paperwork?
So the lender, sometimes I have to wait on the lender to prepare their documents and send them to me via a safe portal. And then once I get those documents, first thing I have to do is with the lender is I have to balance with the CD, the closing disclosure statement with the lender before they even prepare documents. Once the CD is balanced, then they'll prepare documents, send those over to me. I'll download them and print them, depending on if we need to see them in person or if it needs to go to a notary. If it's a notary, I don't usually print them because the notary needs to get the right size. And
Ah,
sometimes if you don't print them and just save them in my documents, it's so much easier for that notary to print the correct sizes. Lenders still do 8.5 by 11 and the 14 size for the deeds of trust. Don't know why. They
yeah.
it just needs to
Makes it challenging. Okay.
makes it challenging. Yes, it does sometimes. So then I'll call the buyer and say, okay, I've got loan documents. Let's go ahead and set you to sign and get you going and close on time. The lender will obviously try to, they know the contract date, when the closing date is, so they'll work with you to make sure that those documents come. And especially if they know that they have to be sent out to a notary, they'll do a couple days before, give them a few days to make sure we got a notary, and they come back to me. I have to have all original documents in my hot little hands to record.
Which means they got to FedEx them back to you.
FedEx or UPS, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I've been there. And that makes it more challenging sometimes because we've got a deadline and lenders aren't always that good at getting their documents out a few days ahead. Now, I have had a lot more success lately with lenders being ready to go. Like my clients are clear to close days ahead. I'm like, that's pretty nice. It
Yeah.
makes it easier for those kind of things if you've got to send stuff out to a notary and they've got to overnight it or whatever. But there's no such thing as overnight anymore, I don't think. Um,
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the other thing. Sometimes UPS and FedEx, even though we send the notary a label that says overnight, what if that signing doesn't happen until 3 and the buyers take a long time and the FedEx goes out at 4:30 and they're not done till 5. It goes out the next day.
exactly.
Sometimes even with overnight, it's 2 days,
Exactly.
depending on where it's at. So,
Exactly. So we do have to give ourselves that extra space to do that.
mhm, mhm.
And then, so the documents come back to you. However, you're in the office signing or they're coming back from the notary. What's the next step that you have to do to keep this moving forward for our buyers?
So for buyers, when the loan documents come back from the notary, if they've been sent out, I have to upload them to the lender's portal. The lender will then review them one more time, do another credit check for everybody. So,
Seriously?
yeah, seriously,
No, I did not know
always a
that.
credit check before closing. So, yeah, I always tell the buyers now, don't go, now that you've signed, doesn't mean you can go out and buy that big boat or that new car. Wait
Or
until
your
we close.
appliances, or your appliances. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
I did
because
not know
especially if you're
that.
if you're getting that on credit. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, they'll always do one more credit check before closing after they receive the documents back. So
I did not know that. Well, that's good to
and,
know.
and then they give you the clear to close. They send you the wire, and then I either wait for buyer's wire or certified check, and then we close on the day of closing. Once I hear from the realtors saying everything's good to go, I have to hear from those realtors on both sides, if it's a house, saying, yep, everything's good to go.
The seller's out, the buyer's signed, we are ready to roll.
You've done your
Record that
walkthrough and
document.
everybody's good, right?
Record that transfer of title. My client wants their house. My client wants to sell. They want to move on. Right.
Yeah.
So the last thing is the recording, right?
Yes. We do our recording electronically. So we are literally tied into Yavapai County Recorder's Office, where we submit our documents online to them. As long as we have the originals in our possession, I can go ahead and submit those online. We do one more review. My title department does one more review of all the documents, make sure everything's good. The legal description's attached. The legal description's right if the lender put the legal description in their documents. So we want to make sure everything's correct before we record. And then we record once it's good.
I love it. And then the next thing that you do is
We prepare the closing packages for you all and make sure dispersing the funds, those proceeds to sellers, those refunds to buyers if there is any. And then I also call everybody to confirm, I call realtors to confirm that it's been recorded.
yes. And then on home warranties, you guys don't wire funds for home warranties. You write out checks, right?
Yes, but lately we've been seeing that a lot of places are wanting to do a wire, and so we'll do a wire for them
Okay.
if requested.
It actually speeds up that whole process because otherwise, if you have to mail out a check to these home warranty companies, the buyers are in their house and the check's in the mail, as they say. So if
Yeah,
they're in their house in the first week or so, the home warranty, they haven't, it's in effect, but they haven't got the money yet sometimes.
right.
They're not all that fast at acknowledging it, even when it shows
Yeah,
up in
and
the
the
mail.
problem with the home warranty companies is they don't always give you wire instructions. They just give you an address.
Right,
So,
right. Which is weird because they have people ACH all the time
mhm.
online. You can just go
But we
online
can't do
and pay.
ACH.
You can?
We cannot do ACHs. We send wires.
Only
There
wires.
we go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to work on that because it just, I know that that's one of the things that we've run into is, well, the home warranty company doesn't have the money yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh
And
my,
I've also had where the home warranty says they don't have the money, but then I check because I can check to see what checks have been cashed, and that check has been cashed. So somebody cashed that check in that home
somebody
warranty company.
deposited that check somewhere. Exactly. Exactly. I know. I know. But these are,
And, make mistakes happen.
yeah, exactly. Well, and it's funny because I always think at the end, and I try to have my clients understand this, that you are the person who distributes all this money. So you've got to go through and, pay the sellers their money, pay lenders their money. If there's a current loan on the property, you've got to mail out the check
Right.
for the home warranty company. You got to pay the vendors that haven't been paid that are waiting for their money. And then you send out money to the agents who've been involved. And as you
Right.
said, sometimes the buyer gets a refund. Do they get a check or do you wire that usually?
They get a check usually.
A check, right at closing.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, I mean, I always say you handle all the money. I don't touch the money. I tell people,
Yeah.
I don't
We're the
touch the money.
fiduciary in this whole thing.
Right, right, right. I have fiduciary responsibilities, but you do as well. And yours involve mostly the money, like the money,
Handling of the money,
handling the
dispersing the
money.
money.
Well,
Yes.
and it's funny because some of my clients remember, and they were buying and selling maybe their first homes back when they used to give a check to their agent for the earnest money. And I
Mhm.
tell people, don't give me a check. I don't want your money. I don't touch the money. They're like, really? I mean, I always do this in the past. I go, no, 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 no. Don't give me the check. And number one, don't give me the earnest money until you're under contract. Like, I'll write you a
Mhm.
check right now. I'm like, no, you're not under contract. And we don't want the earnest money until you're under contract. And then it's best if it goes right to the title agent. It shouldn't go into your real estate agent's hands ever, really, because that role has been eliminated.
I agree with that, but it still happens,
I know. I think I've
unfortunately.
done it once for somebody and it made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't want to, yeah. So just so people know, you can wire the money. You can do the
Do the
little
thing.
bank shot. You
Hmm.
can drive to the office and give them credit card. You can give them cash. I always say you can use cash. You can't do cash, but you can do
A check,
check,
money
cashier,
order.
or money order.
Mhm.
So I just say
Yeah.
they make it easy, but just don't give. And some people, can I just give them cash? I'm like, no, please don't bring in money.
Yeah.
I
Well,
have it under my mattress. No.
and nowadays a lot of people want to use their ACH, and we don't accept an ACH.
Ah, okay. Do you do debit or credit cards for that?
Yeah,
For earnest
no,
money?
that's what the ACH is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically you can wire the funds, regular check, cashier's check, or a money order, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the transaction. So is there anything that I missed that you think it would be, or you're like, I really wish you would have asked me about this? Is there any like final thoughts that you'd like us to have? She's looking at her notes. Good girl. Did I miss anything? I'm looking at my list here and I don't feel like I did.
Yeah, I think we're good, actually. I think we talked about vesting. Yeah, I think we talked about everything we needed to talk about that
Okay,
you had told
wonderful.
me we wanted to talk about.
Okay, all right. Well, and like I said, the title stuff is like a whole nother conversation.
The title stuff could be at least an hour to 2 hours long.
I know it's crazy. I'm just starting to really get my head around that. So I am going to, if you're okay with this, I'm going to include your contact information below in the YouTube channel so people can reach out to you by phone, email, or, write you a letter where they know where you are. And I appreciate you taking time today to do this. It helps me help you and vice versa. I just really want people to understand buying and selling homes. It's a biggest investment people will do, most people.
It is the
I
biggest
want,
investment of people's lives, yes.
yeah. So I want them to be informed. I want them to be educated. I want them to be confident in understanding what is going to happen when they start this. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, Tina.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Have a wonderful rest of the day, dear.
Okay, thank you.
You
Bye-bye.
bet. Bye-bye.